Welcome into a very special impromptu edition of BCP Plus, guys. Thanks for joining us. We know it's NXT time. We'll let you guys get to NXT, momentarily, but real quick, there's just been so much to digest these past couple days. There's been so much to take in. I've been thinking about it. I wrote my review on Elimination Chamber, shameless promo over at bcp-plus.com. And the first thing I said was, it's time to expect the unexpected in the WWE, and it's been a lot of fun. There's a lot to digest, but before we get into that, of course, we have to welcome back an A-plus player here on BCP Plus, a senior editor. He's going to be covering the UFL. I love his interview with the Hardys that he recently did. Our good friend from DFPN, and of course, the No Gimmicks podcast, Mr. Kelvin Cayley. We are not worthy, sir. How are you, my friend?
Man, thank you for having me back on, man. It's a pleasure to be back on, and UFL time. I'm excited for this go around. So we got a little experience, get back to doing what we do over there, and I love it, man. So thanks.
Yeah, man. And it had to be you, Calvin, man, because you were on top of a lot of these twists and turns. And, we talked about Cody a lot, man, but you had a lot of really great theories, Calvin. And I was like, we need to have Kelvin on for this one. He wasn't on for the EC predictions. So I needed you here, man. And I mean, let's not bury the lead, as they say, man. What did you think?
Yeah.
And I know we're a couple days late on this, but we had time to kind of digest it. What did you think? Because you pay attention to nuance and clues and all that kind of thing. What did you think about the execution of the epic, monumental heel turn of the one and only John Cena, man? What was your thoughts on how that all went down?
First of all, phenomenal. That's the way you do it. That is the way you do it. Hook, line, sinker. You take them on the ride, and then you eject them immediately, abruptly, and without warning. That was awesome, man. And I know we have our group chat thing, and we were in there, and when it hit me, I was like, dude, I think this is gonna be Cena. And what got me is he was still in the ring.
He's lingering.
He was lingering. He was there. So once Travis Scott came out, first and foremost, unpredictability. You couldn't have told me Travis Scott was coming out, but he did.
Yeah.
But he
whole
did.
Other conversation.
Yeah. He's gonna be a trivia answer someday. Like, that's how random that was.
Nice.
But when Rock came out and Cody came out, it was just something in the air. I was like, something's off about this whole exchange. And then, Cena, if you pay attention to Cena, he's still doing what he would normally do in these type of situations. Like, he's reacting, he's going to get the crowd. And then right when it's time for him to turn, you see his face go from happy to menacing. And I was like, you got me. You got me. So one of my theories was Cena would turn heel. And the reason why I said this is because Cena throughout his career has been the good guy. And there's a lot of similarities. A lot of people are going to talk about Hulk Hogan and how similar this was to Hulk Hogan. In a lot of ways, it was. Cena has gone pretty much his entire career being the good guy. So did Hulk Hogan when he turned, right? It was, we don't think he's ever going to do it. And it makes all the sense for him to do it. So the crowd's still 50-50. They're still getting, you still get the Cena sucks chance every now and then, but now it's more so out of love. No one actually thinks he's gonna turn. So it was perfect. So my deal is, if you're gonna end your career, which this is gonna be monster, this is monster business we're talking, and you see it automatically. Once he turns, it's going to flip everything on its head, and which it did. So now you have this chance for him. There's a redemption arc at the end of this. And him doing it now with this much time left on his career is like, he's doing it for all the reasons he's doing it for. He wants number 17. He wants to exit the game, with the record, so to speak. So it makes all the sense for him to turn, get it. He doesn't have to do it as a good guy, because it won't mean as much. If he does it as a bad guy, you can hate him for it, and it makes all the sense because no one really wants to see him break that record. And he does it, and he could throw it in your face that he actually broke the record, and he could do it as a bad guy. He can gloat about this openly, without unapologetically, and get away with it. And that's where we are now. So I'm interested. The only thing I didn't like out of all of this is they did not follow this up last night. Dude, this thing hit so many mediums. It hit so many mediums. It's mainstream. Wrestling hasn't been mainstream in a very, very long time. You have everybody talking about this. Like, you need to capitalize on it. But I get it. You had the Raw that you had last night. You don't want to overshadow that. But man, overall, it's not as big as Hogan to me, but it is up there. It is up there, one of the greatest heel turns ever, because no one expected it.
No one did. And like, we had, I won't say be as bold to say to predict, but we had discussed possibilities of what Cena may or may not do during his last run. It may have come up on the show kind of in passing, but I think we all pretty much dismissed it. But the way it was done, and you said it, Kelvin, what was near masterful. And also, you hit on something when you had said they should have followed up on it on Raw. I was thinking that, but I think Cena had to like fly out to a movie set or something, or overseas or something like that. So it's hard, man. But it would have been strong if he was there to kind of follow up on that. But again, we don't get an answer, right? We don't get him on the microphone. We saw him in the press conference. He dropped it. What did you think, Kelvin, real quick? And in the chat, Jeffrey T. Fountain, US Department of Nerds. Look at these two handsome fellas. I almost called it the Handsome Podcast tonight. And thank you, Jeffrey, for tuning in. Also want to shout out our sponsor. You can see in the upper left-hand corner, our top tier sponsor, Twisted Shamrock Studios and Spa. Thank you guys for stepping up for us, helping the podcast out. Awesome. You are our official sponsor right now. So we are powered by you guys in Delaware County, Pennsylvania. They're also doing some great stuff on the Northeast Independence, helping out back in the locker rooms, Shamrock and Spa, stretching you guys out. So if you guys are looking for someone for the locker rooms, check out Twisted Shamrock Studios and Spa. We'll have more on that as we go on. I want to ask you this, Kelvin, shameless promo aside. A lot of people, I was listening to Busted Open, as we do all the time. Love Busted Open. Shout out to those guys on Sunday. And a lot of people were calling in about some of the things that we had talked about, the three as Cena would do it, or the backwards two, the way The Rock did the throat slit coming off the cheek, like so many little nuances. I felt, and this is not a knock. This is just my take on it. I felt the Sunday hosts were a little bit dismissive of that. Like, oh, you guys are reading too much into it. And then the Monday hosts, Dave and Boley and I believe Mark, were all over it, and they were leaning into the nuances. I loved it. We saw Cena on the truck, like a year ago, whatever that was. Do you think there's a connection there? I love that kind of stuff, the Easter egg, the nuance. Did you see a connection there? Are we reaching? What do you think about all that?
No, that's not a reach at all. And if you look at The Rock's history, he's known to drop these little subtle nuances, right? And even Cena did it this run. Hindsight, you can look at this now and be like, dude, he totally let us know this. And that's at the Royal Rumble post press conference, right? He was not John Cena that night. Yes. You could tell that he was hurt, he was defeated, and he was just like, dude, I need to find something. Like, I'm gonna come back. I'm gonna be in this elimination chamber. Didn't do a match to qualify for it. The writing was on the wall then. He sounded so corporate in that presser. It was like, dude, best for business. This is not John Cena talking, bro. This is someone else. Like, this is me. I know I can't get it the way I normally get it. I'm gonna get it by any means. And yeah, there's stuff there. There may be more that we're not catching that is absolutely right out in the open. And it's set up to where you could look at it at a moment in time and be like, oh yeah, I remember this. I remember this happening. And it comes back later, like the Rolex. People were asking, what did he give him? And it was the Rolex. People speculated that it was the Rolex. The Rock brought up the Rolex. Lo and behold, the Rolex is a part, and no one really touched on that. The Rolex was a part of the beatdown that Cena gave Cody. Like he took it, put it on his hand. People thought it was his brass knucks, and he beat the crap out of Cody with him. And I was like, dude, they planted so much stuff in this to where there's gonna be stuff coming out that you're like, oh, and we're all sitting here wondering, why isn't this WrestleMania? They're building, but you don't see it. Why is this WrestleMania feeling like it isn't built up enough? And they've already got the thing just hashed and ready to go. And this Elimination Chamber was an excellent example of that, because they built this whole thing and no one really caught on to it.
Yeah, even though it was in ways in plain sight. And I agree with you, Calvin. There were so many little things going back to the Rolex, the watch. What did The Rock give Cody? All that stuff that you can make the argument for the truck. Now people are saying, oh, Stone Cold was on that truck too. I've heard everything from the John Cena 3, which I thought was brilliant, if that's the case. The Rock did the 2 kind of, he didn't do the 2 like this. I can think of a lot of wrestlers that do that in their entrance.
Yep.
He did this kind of backwards. Like, what does that mean? A lot of people are saying the 1 could be, there's so many things we've seen lately with the bloodline and the ones and we to ones. And, for example, even Trish throws up a 1. I'm not saying it's Trish, but you get my point. Hey, you never know, bro. I'd be here for it. I'd be here for it. There's so much going on. It's a lot of fun. I love Dot Connects. And it's been a lot of fun. Jeffrey T. Fountain in the chat. The Rock is meticulous and John Cena is too. Anything they have done has been planned. It feels that way. And at the same time, when The Rock appeared on SmackDown, it was like the day before, the morning before The Rock will be on SmackDown. Felt very impromptu. The Rock had come on Netflix and been like super babyface pal with Cody, then kind of addressed that interaction on NXT the next day. So that felt kind of weird and impromptu. And again, that's kind of The Rock's character. I'm smart enough to realize that is like, the rules don't apply to him. He can curse. He can say whatever he wants. He wants to take you this way. He addressed it in the press conference. He'll do that. He wants to take it that way. He will. But that to me makes it feel, and we talked about this on the EC prediction chamber, to me, that makes it feel unplanned. That makes it feel unconnected. That makes it feel impromptu. And he's kind of not going off script, but he's kind of, and I don't want to say going into business for himself. I would never say that about The Rock, because he's smart. He knows, and he's given so much to the business, but it feels that way on the surface level. And then after Elimination Chamber, like you just said, Kelvin, it came together so perfectly. Like, I have to take my hats off to everyone involved, to Cena, his just starting with the facial, the drop of the face with the hug, the way the Rock, I even like The Rock better in that interaction, because he wasn't chatty. He wasn't, I'm going to take you up and take you down. He was just he was business. Okay, that's your answer. Do the thing, Cena, and Cena's face just dropping. It was almost like he was like, I don't know how to describe, like a evil Terminator cyborg, evil. I don't know if you're with me, Kellen.
Like stone face.
Cena.
It was crazy.
Yeah, it was. He must have practiced that facial. It just, and now it's on all the memes, but it was so good. The facial alone, and just the way he stood next to The Rock and Travis Scott, it was so powerful. And a lot of people, you have that initial reaction, and you and I have that processed reaction where it's been a couple of days. This is like group therapy.
Yeah.
And I'm okay with it. I think initially like, no, but it makes sense. And you even said in that Royal Rumble press conference, it was very uncharacteristic. I think we're all kind of like, oh, but we didn't think he was going to turn heel, but it was very you're declaring yourself. I said it on the prediction show, is the Elimination Chamber match for the title? Is it a number 1 contenders? Sometimes it is. We don't even know that yet, and you're declaring yourself. And Punk addressed it. Great promo by Punk last night. But there was so much. I could go on and on, but I just want to say I love the Dot Connect. I love the way everything came together. The Easter eggs, the Rolex, the 3, 2, 1. I am very interested in. I am very interested in those little nuances.
Very much.
I think it's significant. But Kelvin, and guys in the chat, let us know what you think about the Cena heel turn, how it made you feel. One thing real quick, I don't want to spend too much time on this, Kelvin, but what did you think of the, and I think I'm alone on this. What did you think of the F-bomb from Cody? Did you think that was too much? Did you think it was uncharacteristic? Did you think it was meaningful? Because you don't see that often, and that was the right place for it. What did you think about the F-bomb by Cody there?
I'm going to put it in these terms. It worked. And the reason it worked, the reason it worked is because they had heavily censored everything else. And it made this moment feel like it was unplanned. Because by that point, and even Triple H alluded to it in the presser, they no one knew this was gonna happen. So no one knew to censor Cody. They didn't know what he was gonna say, right? So it made that moment hit that much harder to say, go F yourself. And then the crowd goes crazy. We hear it, and everybody's like, bro, what is going? Because in my head, I was like, what is going on? This is
Yeah.
crazy. It got the reaction it needed to get. Like, we just hopped back into the attitude era for like 5 seconds, and now we're gonna. It gave you that heightened sense of something big's happening, right? It was to throw you off from everything else that was actually about to happen. Like, oh dang, he just cussed. Like, and they didn't censor it. And the crowd's going wild. I'm going wild. And boom, there goes the hammer. And again, it added, that was another element in that turn that made it hit that much harder.
Yeah.
Because it was just like, dang, they're not going to censor it. And here we go.
Yeah, it was effective. I think you answered that perfectly. For me
Yeah,
personally,
very much.
and I'm nitpicking, and you know me, and Mr. Goody Two Shoes over here, right? That's the whole gimmick, right? But I kid. But I didn't love, like, again, it served its purpose. It was there. I can't say you shouldn't have done that because it was nearly perfect, everything. I
Yeah.
didn't love it because a lot of and again, this is like more personal, but like a lot of my friends' kids are starting to get into it, and they're all about the Yeats, and they're really getting into it, and they're really loving Cody. So for me, just for them to see Cody do that, I was like, it's not my favorite. And then on Netflix, Punk's promo, which was fantastic, by the way. I love Punk's promo. I know I've been super critical of him, but man, does he always keep it interesting, man. Well, one of my favorite promos by him yesterday. But 3 BSs, like a couple of SHs, like a lot of cursing, like right out of the gate. But I get it.
Yeah.
It served a purpose. It portrayed seemingly real emotion. It made me invest in the character. So it's not my favorite, but again, it's on Netflix. It is a family product because the kids are a big part of that audience. So it's just something I'm wary of. I'm keeping my eye on. But I think for us, the older fans, the smarter fans, people who are fans of the Attitude Era, it works. It works. So
Yeah,
I try to look at it from both
definitely.
sides. Yeah.
Most definitely.
I want to move on here, Kelvin. I want to talk about my personal favorite part of the Elimination Chamber PLE. Real quick before I do that, I don't want to forget. I want to give flowers to Liv Morgan. I was never a huge Liv Morgan fan, and Jersey's own too, right? But she has come such a long way. She was the workhorse of that chamber match. I didn't see the main event last week, but I had heard that tag match was fantastic.
Oh, banger.
She has stepped it up, Kelvin. Like, and you could see I saw the pictures afterwards, but I even said during the match, like you could see all the bruises and she was busted open, bruises through that whole match. Like she was the workhorse of that entire match. So I want to give Liv her flowers, very well deserved. But my favorite moment of the whole, I was going nuts, and I think you know where I'm going with this. Beginning of the match, we talk. Is it Naomi? Is it Bianca? What's going on? Who attacked Jade? Jade's music hit. Okay. Again, Liv's facials of like, oh shoot, she's coming for me. She thinks it's me. At that point, I was so convinced. The closer Jade got, I'm like, it is Liv. It has to be Liv because Liv is doing such a good job showing me that it was her, and she is that guilty boo-boo scared face. And then
even up to the hands in her face, like,
dude, when she makes the beeline, it looks like it's toward Liv, and she hits that left to Naomi. I was just like, well, I'm good, dude. You can ask me. I'm going nuts. I'm like, what? I'm like, it was Naomi. And again, we don't know, but we're assuming. I think Jade would know. If anyone, I'm getting hyped already. I think Jade would know, right? And she's there. But beyond my favorite part, Bianca's facials, reaction, Bianca emoting, because we talk about this so much. I had said on the podcast, on the prediction show, I think Bianca Belair, and I think you backed me up, Kelvin. I appreciate that. I think Bianca is the best women's wrestler in the world, and that's not a knock on Charlotte or whoever else. I just think, and I think a lot of the pushback I got on that is like we need more in the character in terms of emotion or maybe a heel turn or drama. And we saw that range when she was helpless behind the plexiglass, scared, helpless, emoting, screaming. It was a beautiful chaos. It was a beautiful chaos. And I thought everyone involved, including Liv, played it perfectly to start the PLE. It set the table. It was one of the best PLEs of the year, maybe even better than the Rumble. It was my favorite part was just Bianca emoting. And then she goes through that match, Kelvin, and she finds it in her to win that match. And she even said on Raw, and we'll get into Raw in a little bit, she even said on Raw, like, you know, she didn't know how to feel and she pushed through it. She didn't want to comment too much on the situation until she was informed. It was a very politically correct, smart babyface answer, which I appreciate. But the emotion of her winning and just the emotion of the character, because I said she was kind of benched, and that's not the right word, but in the tag team division, because they did a great job with those titles. Bianca and Bianca and Naomi did a great job going to NXT. Great matches, like we were talking about. I could go on and on, but it's like they benched the Hulk in Infinity War. I say they kind of benched the Hulk, right? Because he's the Hulk. So I kind of felt that way about Bianca, and we picked her to win, but her emoting from that get-go was just so good. I'm like, storytelling. It wasn't even about the moves, and she's fantastic. It was just the storytelling, the emotion, the range. Give her the Emmy. You know, we're talking about Emmys in wrestling, right? I loved it. Calvin, what did you think about all that with Bianca?
Couple of things.
Yes.
Cinema. That was cinema. There's a video of her actually, they had a camera in her pod, and like the range of emotions, you could see it on her face. She's crying in the pod, watching all this happen. She's screaming, and it's awesome, dude. It's so awesome.
I gotta watch it.
Yeah, it's amazing. I'll share it with you. It's an amazing watch, because seeing it from one point of view, but seeing it from that point of view, it adds another wrinkle to it. But when Jade came out, and you're right, Liv's face, I thought it was actually Liv. And then when she made that beeline, before she made that beeline, something very interesting happened.
Okay.
Naomi looks back at Bianca like, I didn't think she was going to be here tonight, right? She looked back at her, and the look on Bianca's face is like, oh, she's here. And then you actually hear it in the pod. She's like, oh, yeah, you thought you got away with it, Liv. You thought you got away with it. And then when Naomi finally starts getting beat on, her whole demeanor changes and she goes into the crying stuff. I'm like, dude, if she is actually the orchestrator of this and Naomi took the fall, this is going to play out very, very well in the grand scheme of things.
Almost like Bianca was overselling it. Like,
overselling, yes.
Oh.
She was very, very emotional. Why? I'm going to send you this video. She was very emotional. And it was like, knowing that and plus seeing the look, and I'm like, oh, she sold this beautifully, beautifully. And Jade hasn't come out and said anything yet. So for all we know, it's Naomi and Naomi herself. But again, remember, there's video. And we don't know if there's video of Naomi and Bianca before or after this attack. I'm just going to leave it there, and I'm going to let this play out. But I do believe that it's been set up to where eventually it's going to be revealed that it was Bianca.
Wow. Saying it right here. I got to watch that back and watch what you mentioned, that little look back. I have to watch that part. I'm going to watch that again.
Because Naomi looks back like, girl. Like that was the look. It was like,
know?
Girl, I didn't. Yeah.
Does she know? Was it both of us? Does she know we were both? Does she think it's just me? It was you, Bianca. It wasn't me. Why is she coming after? Who knows? Man, but they're going to connect it. And so let me ask you this, Calvin, and we'll talk about Raw very quickly. Again, love the promo by CM Punk, but since we're talking about Bianca, I missed a little bit of the end because I'm an old man and I passed out to work early. But I did watch the clips this morning. Very surprised to see I did not. And again, Io's one of my favorites. I'll say she's one of the best in the world right now. Here's my hot take, Kelvin. I think Bianca's the number one. My number two might be Stephanie Vaquer. Keep an eye on her. I'm just going to put it right there. She's very good. Looking forward to that match next week here in MSG. I'll try to be there. Very excited for that versus Julia, but I digress. That match, I did not think Rhea was going to lose that title. I thought it was just going to be, and I said it on the podcast, the money match, Bianca versus Rhea. They were both on the cover of the video game last year. Two baby faces. Do we need to do this thing like we did with Cena where, because I don't mind the face as long as there's a story, as long as it's going to be a good match, like, and it makes sense. I'm cool with it, but the Cena thing, it goes back to winning that 17th title where it's just like, oh, there's kind of some juice on this now. Are we doing the same thing with Bianca? There's so many. I have no clue. I have no read on this, Kelvin. It's looking like it might be a triple threat at WrestleMania. What is your takeaway from this? I did not think Io was going to be involved in that main event WrestleMania match, and I'm so glad she is. It's going to be awesome. She's one of the best women's wrestlers in the world. She's been one of my favorites for a long time. What's your takeaway from this, Kelvin? What do you think about all this?
Oh, man. So I was not expecting that. Not at all. And it threw a wrench into my thinking. It really did. So my thinking was you can't have Rhea and Bianca going to WrestleMania face versus face. You already have that sort of scenario out there in other matches, right? So one of them has to be the definitive heel. And my thought was there was going to be Bianca. And we got the match that we wanted, and they snatched it away. I don't know why this happened. So my theory, my working theory now, and it's fresh because this happened last night, is that they need to establish Bianca as the heel going into WrestleMania. The only way you could do that is with somebody like an Io Sky, whose work is phenomenal, but also in the backstage can see things but can't really say it because it's a language barrier. That's my thought. We'll work on it. We'll polish it up. But my thought
I see you
is
going somewhere. Okay.
Yeah. My thought is Io actually seen the beatdown.
Yeah.
Io's now the champion, and now it can make sense. Or we could have Rhea go heel again. Either way, I don't know. But from the ending of last night's match, it looks like it's going to be Rhea that is going to be the heel, and Bianca's the face. But things could change, man. And I still think we may end up with Rhea versus Bianca at WrestleMania.
Yeah, and just like that, yeah, a lot can change. And you said it perfectly, Kelvin, because I'm trying to do the math in, and I can't. And let me say this. I say this all the time. I like when I can't get a read on things. It makes me want to tune in. It's kind of hard, Kelvin, because it's like we didn't get Cena on Raw, after Roman at the Rumble. Like he's kind of off the chart, like, or off the map, like off the grid. A lot of people are saying Seth Punk, which I love the segment last night with Punk, and they're just fighting each other like throughout the show. I think it served its purpose. It was great. A lot of people are saying we're going to insert Roman into this in some form or fashion. Roman's nowhere to be found. You can even make a case for the Bloodline story. Like, I don't want to say it fizzled, but like it's because it almost feels like a subplot now, where it's like Fatu and Solo, in terms of just the bloodline. And I get it. Everyone's doing their thing, but that story's been going for such a long time. A lot of people are saying the Cody thing somehow in some form or fashion, the Rock, it's going to come back to the bloodline. We say it all the time, Kelvin. Why is Cody orbiting the bloodline constantly in some form or fashion? Is that going to come full circle? There's so many things. It's hard when, the Rock isn't there on Monday. It's hard when Cena's not there on Monday. It's hard when we don't see with Jade and Naomi. Yes, they're on SmackDown, so that's great. We'll see them on SmackDown, but I want more, and that's a good thing. They leave us wanting more. These PLEs have been great. And honestly, Kelvin, I don't know if you got anything else you want to jump in with, man, but the one thing I'm learning here is expect the unexpected, man, and I'm kind of here for it.
Absolutely. Hear me out real quick, because I'll throw you a theory.
Okay.
What if, here's a what if scenario. What if the one is Roman Reigns? So we got the 3, we got the 2. What if the 1 is Roman Reigns. Not in the case of joining them, but in the case of we may actually get Rock versus Roman at WrestleMania
this
And
year.
the reason I say this is
Ooh.
because who he's with right now. John Cena is one of the people that helped take down the Bloodline at WrestleMania and give the championship to Cody Rhodes. And what if the tribal chief does not like that?
I like it. I like it, man. Kel, so you're getting me hyped for something that might not happen, man. But I like it. I like it a lot. And then what's the two? What's the two? What's the backwards two? What is that?
We don't know.
I don't know. And then it's gonna
What
happen.
if it's a two-man power trip? What if it's a two-man power trip?
It could, dude. Exactly. Who knows at this point? It could be anything. Now you have literally. I wish you didn't say that because now you literally have me thinking. Yeah, we could do Rock Roman. We could do Rock Roman. We can make that.
You could. You absolutely could.
And real quick, another thing. I didn't want to forget this with the Cena heel turn. Another reason we missed it is because the focus was on Cody so much that what have we been talking about on the podcast, Calvin? The fact that Cody may turn. Cody's a heel. I mean, you dropped an F-bomb, right? But I digress. But like, you get what I'm saying? Like, Cody's a heel. Cody's a heel. Cody's a heel. It's going to be Cody. I don't think any of us thought he was really going to join The Rock. We were all kind of like, I don't think he will. Like, what sense would that make? But the attention was so much on Cody and the star power of The Rock. And yes, Cena had just one of the, but like it was so far over here on Cody that, man, none of us, I mean, unless you guys in the chat saw it, none of us saw it coming.
I had theories and I still didn't see that one coming.
Exactly. It's wild. I love the Easter eggs. I love the nuance. The 3 for the Cena, the back. What is the backwards 2, guys? What is the backwards 2?
What is that?
Please let us know. And the one,
I have a theory on it, but I'm this one's gonna be way left field. And,
hey, man.
And it's only because of The Rock's availability and Cena being able to get into this elimination chamber without a qualifying match. Only 2 people can make this happen. You want to guess?
No, tell me.
The Rock is one.
Okay.
The other one is Triple H.
Interesting.
And the reason I say that is because you're gonna need that. And The Rock put this out there too. I'm just gonna leave it here. The Rock put this out. A match between him and Cody doesn't necessarily need to happen, but he can be the authority figure. We know The Rock won't be there forever. Someone else will. I'll leave that there.
Interesting. Oh, Calvin, you're getting me hyped, man. Oh, man, you got lots of stuff going on.
I'll leave it at that.
Before we get out of here real quick, JVD, thanks for checking in. We know you guys are watching NXT, so we appreciate you guys jumping in. Lest we see Cena the better. Interesting until the main event. Let it build. Yeah, I get what you're saying, JVD. That's crossed my mind, right? We don't get answers right away. In the press conference, he dropped the mic, literally and figuratively, right? He drops the mic, walks out. I'm very glad I was not in the room at that point. It would have been very, very awkward. But man, I mean, that was incredibly crazy, but we don't get an answer right away on Raw. We have to wait. I just hate that the waiting's so long. You know, he's filming a movie and I get that. Like, please do that. That's amazing. But we have to wait so long for answers. I don't want it just to be PLEs. I think he's got like 30 something dates left. Real quick. What are you saying here, JVD? The backwards 2 indicates another flip. Ooh. That's coming. Okay. I thought it like there was the actual 2, the 1 obviously being Roman and then the 3. Interesting. All right. And then Calvin was alluding to this. Trips because Cody took the sledge to the throne. Wow, yeah. It always comes back to that. It's very, very interesting. Like I say, guys, expect the unexpected. Buckle up. This road to WrestleMania is just really taking it to another level. Things are changing. Things are interesting. It's cool, man. It's our stories. We'll get out of here. Anything else you want to touch on, Calvin? I think we're good. Anything else?
I'm good, man. Great. Listen, we're on the road to WrestleMania. Things are going to get interesting. I like that we don't know anything. So I'm just going to relax and let it play out. I'll have my theories, but I don't know anything, and I love it.
You had some good stuff, dude. You getting my hopes up for Rock Roman this year at WrestleMania. We'll see it could happen. Why not? Right? Dude, that being said, guys, I know you guys probably watching NXT or want to get to NXT. Real quick, the Hardys are on NXT. They'll be at Madison Square Garden next week. Please go over to bcp-plus.com and check out. I can't put this interview over enough. Kelvin's interview, about 20 minutes with the Hardys, sitting down, literally
Great
just
time.
chilling. Kelvin, you did such a good job. I say this all the time, but the
Great
fact that
time.
they are rapping Public Enemy at the end of the interview, so good. They seem just so comfortable with you, man. And I'm so proud of you. Just great job. Check that out.
Thank
Kelvin,
you, man.
tell them all the great stuff you got going on. DFPN, No Gimmicks Podcast, all that good stuff, bro.
Oh, man. So thank you to everybody that subscribed to our YouTube channel, No Gimmicks, DFPN on YouTube. Sorry. We just hit the 4,000 subscriber mark. So thank you guys for subscribing and showing some love to the podcast. USDN is getting their numbers up. Go subscribe to them. We have Queens of Nerdum on the DFPN channel, along with Nightmares and Nerdscapes, along with the Smoke Pit that is on. We are on our YouTube channel too at smokepit.feeling. So make sure you guys go tap into us. Also, we have a website, thedfpn.com. Come show us some love. If you like this, we talk wrestling a lot, me and myself and Frank D over at No Gimmicks. So come show us some love, man. Thank you guys for tuning in tonight.
Yeah, thank you, Kelvin. Always good talking to you, man. We'll have you back soon. Appreciate you. Kelvin's going to be covering the Arlington Renegades, right? Renegades UFL. He very excited for that, Kelvin. Last time had a question with the final boss, and he popped him because he called him the final boss. So I expect nothing less the next time you interview him. You can give him the countdown if you want, Kelvin. But I appreciate you, bro. Great job. Guys, if you get a chance, shameless promo for me, again, over at bcp-plus.com. That's where you'll find all our great content. I got to sit down with my friend Casey Navarro, now TNA superstar. I've been interviewing him for years and years and years. Just proud of him. Very full circle, emotional interview. So check that out. Support Casey at Casey Wrestles on Twitter and Instagram. Guys, thank you for tuning in. We appreciate it, Kelvin. I'm going to rudely run the sponsors, but I appreciate you staying up, man. And guys, like we always say here on the BCP, everyone stay safe, stay positive, take care of each other. We out. Peace. BCP is brought to you by our favorite store, Funkenstein Wrestling Superstore, located in the Englishtown Flea Market in New Jersey from 8 a.m. to 3 p.m. Saturdays and Sundays, and online at FunkensteinWrestlingSuperstore.com. Get your favorite wrestling merch, retro video games, Ninja Turtles, Ghostbusters, G.I. Joe, so much more. It's our favorite store. Thank you, Heather Dan, for sponsoring the BCP. Also got to welcome back our sponsors, the No Gimmicks Podcast, the podcast that keeps it 100% real 100% of the time. Check out our guy Kelvin, only on the No Gimmicks Podcast. Wrestling All Day, All Night is the best wrestling discussion group on Facebook. We provide more of a community feel here and have wrestling fans introduce other fans to something they may not have seen before, such as old school wrestling, indie wrestling, Japanese wrestling, and so much more. We also strive to be a source of information regarding upcoming wrestler meet and greets and signings. And remember, we're open 24/7, all day, all night. Be sure to follow on socials and join the group on Facebook at Wrestling All Day, All Night. Welcome back our sponsors, Sweet Chin Musings. Sweet Chin Musings is the creation of the reigning, rarely defending, highly disputed champion of wrestling podcast, Mr. Perfect, Mike Mueller, and his tag team partner in crime, Luke Kudialis. SCM focuses on the in-ring product of WWE and AEW, no dirt sheet rumors here, as well as backstage news, predictions, and analysis of characters, storylines, and major pay-per-views. Old school fans, don't worry, we have you covered as well, with a look back on classic matches, top 10 lists, and interactive tournaments that let the fans decide who is truly the best of all time. You can find them at Facebook at Sweet Chin Musings, and check out the podcast on all major podcast platforms. Please welcome back our sponsors on the BCP Plus and the podcast, GPW Productions. GPW provides your promotion or event with top-tier video, audio production, live streaming, and more. I can personally vouch for them in saying they are hands down the best production company I've ever worked with, as they have and continue to work with the likes of AEW, GCW, StarCast, MLW, not to mention the majority of the local independent promotions here in the tri-state area. They can even help you film a vignette or promo for your persona or gimmick. And guess what? GPW doesn't just work in wrestling. No, they cover MMA, boxing, basketball, or any other sporting event as well. On a personal note, I'd like to thank Mike Sesko, Frank Leone, O'Neal Andros, and the team for giving me multiple opportunities to work with them and some of the best talent in the world. Thank you, GPW, and guys, book GPW for your promotion or event today at contact@gpwproductions.com. Please welcome back one of our favorite sponsors, Mania Club. Established in 2015, Mania Club is a WWE-recognized community for fans with an eclectic love for both the world of professional wrestling and raising money for Connor's Cure. During WrestleMania weekend, we host the official tailgate of WrestleMania while also celebrating the life of Connor McCollum. They are the single largest donor within the V Foundation for Connor's Cure with over 150,000 raised. Please donate and join the Facebook group over at Mania Club on Facebook. Donate at jimmyv.org/Mania Club. Guys, please welcome in our new pod sponsor for the months of May and June, J. Adam Photography. Jay provides quality, artistic, innovative photography with a quick turnaround time. Be sure to check out his latest ISPW wrestling pics and much more stellar content. Right now, wrestlers can do a special portrait shoot with Jay in Sparta, New Jersey for just $50. Contact Jay at Jay Vogel on Facebook and be sure to follow him across socials. Thank you, Jay, for sponsoring the BCP. Guys, let's welcome in our new pod sponsor, Cooper Groove Grips. When you play Cooper Groove drumsticks, you get increased sensory feedback from your hands, so your grip will naturally loosen, but you have complete control. With that taking place, you don't have fatigue and soreness, which can lead to long-term issues. Guys, as a drummer, Cooper Groove is my drumstick of choice. Sweaty hands aren't a problem. Grip is good. Don't forget to check out their amazing Cooper Groove bats coming out soon. Guys, follow at Cooper Groove Grips on Facebook. Guys, please welcome in our new podcast sponsors, ISPW Weekly, where we dive deep into the world of ISPW, the crossroads of professional wrestling. Join Jumpin' Jay and Total with Tom every week as they interview the stars of the ring, uncover their stories, rivalries, and the electrifying action that defines ISPW. Be sure to check out ISPW Weekly on the ISPW Facebook page every week. Please welcome in our new pod and daily site sponsor, Twisted Shamrock Studios and Spa, located in Delaware County, Pennsylvania. Twisted Shamrock is a retro spa experience for the average Joe and Jane. Meet the next evolution of recovery and relaxation. Right now, you can try their introductory offer, where you can try a core service to include massage, skincare, facial, stretch therapy, body slimming, toning, personal training, and spray tanning for 30 minutes for just $30. This is perfect for our wrestling pals as well. Book today. Call 484-574-8868 or visit www.twistedshamrockstudiospa.com. Guys, please welcome back our returning podcast sponsor, USDN. USDN Podcast is run by USDN Chairman and the Council of Nerds. We bring you all the latest news and rumors from the world of nerds and consolidate it right here at the U.S. Department of Nerds. USDN is for the people, by the people, and of the people. Follow them at facebook.com/US Department of Nerds. Guys, please welcome in our new pod sponsor for 2025, the Ropes and Riffs Podcast, featuring Maestro John Kiernan, speaking with the stars of professional wrestling about their in-ring, tunage, gear, and so much more. Check out John's interviews with the likes of Lince Dorado, Mercedes Martinez, and so much more. Find the Ropes and Riffs Podcast on all major podcast platforms. Guys, please welcome in our new podcast sponsor, EM Collectibles, featuring live signings, collectibles, toys, and more. Be sure to follow them on Facebook and stay tuned for their upcoming events. Upcoming events right now, March 8th, Hernando Toy and Comic Show, the Hernando County Fairgrounds live signing with Super Crazy. March 22nd, Neg Dog Championship Wrestling presents Music and Mayhem in Hudson, Florida with special guest Super Crazy. March 29th and 30th, 2025 Syracuse Collectors Con in Syracuse, New York with Bill Alfonso, Gary Wolf, and the quintessential stud muffin Joel Gertner, March 30th only. April 5th, New England Fan Fest, and we'll have Buff Bagwell. April 13th, 2025, our premiere show, Bring Back the Memories Toy Show, and May 10th, our renowned 90s Wrestling Con in Morristown, New Jersey, guests to be named soon. Please welcome back our returning podcast sponsor, Inside Heat, Sports and Collectibles. Learn from a legend, that's right, Howard Johnson from the Mets. There's a baseball clinic March 29th, 2025 from 10 a.m. to 4 p.m. Ages 6 through 14, boys and girls. Enroll now at the Maple Grange Fields, 36 Maple Grange Road, Vernon, New Jersey. Contact Pete for event or sponsorship information at InsideHeatSports@gmail.com. Warriors of Wrestling presents New Breed, Saturday, March 15th at Most Precious Blood Church in Brooklyn, New York, featuring WCW legend Vampiro and former NXT superstar Odyssey, FKA Odyssey Jones, with a special appearance by Boogie Woogie Man Jimmy Valiant. Get your tickets now at warriorsofwrestling.com and be sure to subscribe on YouTube. Bree Combination Wrestling presents Madness at the Mecca. It's going to be on Sunday, March 16th, 2025, 106 Bergen Ave, Ridgefield Park, New Jersey. Doors at 2, bell at 3 p.m. Featuring BCW World Heavyweight Championship match, Darius Carter versus the Messiah of Old School, Sean Donovan. Of course, Anthony Gangone versus Casey Navarro, Stunning Law, and